This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. That's right. The robot. Yeah, what's going on? Listen, when I do these cases, we're going to go over them. I don't need people to look stuff up on the side and send me an email and start typing answers in the chat. Hey, everybody, did you hear about this part? Okay, hopefully you guys don't like that either. Okay, it's a complete... people do it so that they can pretend that they're just so sleuthy and looking things up and they want to impress people, okay? I've got all these files in here and I'm just trying to tell the story, okay? If you feel like you got to go do that, just create your own channel and say, hey, these are the parts I want to tell you about that Gray hasn't covered yet. And have that be the name of your channel, okay? These are the parts... Anyway, I just think it's crazy that people do that shit. It drives me nuts. Send me, hey, Gray, did you see this way? Look, I'll cover it, and when we're all done, if you have seen something out there that we haven't talked about or anything like that, let me know, all right? Yeah. I don't know why it bugs me so much. I almost just want to block people immediately when they do that. It's unreal. It's just, yeah, we all like looking into stuff, but let's just all kind of do it together at the same time. I mean, I have seen stuff that I know is coming in the future, okay? But we're just going through this together. Yeah. I'm just saying, everybody. Hey, this doesn't really taste that great. It's like gin and cherry. Yeah, it's kind of a weird, I don't know. I'll have to deal with it, I guess. And Zozo, you said this is an inane case. Yeah. I had to look up inane. I knew it wasn't a good word. Silly or stupid. All right. So I know there's people that wanted to do the quick. I'm just going to do the timeline up to here again, okay? And I think I figured some things out. I think Malvina's maiden name is Sanders. She is absolutely elusive to find anything about. Even her, there really isn't even an obituary that is easy to find anyways in the newspapers. Apparently she was buried, though, back in Louisville, so I might look that up. But I think her last name was Sanders. There was a fire at their home on December 13th, 1957. On January 13th, 1958, Malvina filed for divorce. January 29th, she was murdered. And January 30th, do you guys remember what date that was when they were supposed to show up in court? I know it was the 13th they filed for it, but it was like, God, what was that? Like 10 days later or something like that. Anyways, they were supposed to be in court 17th, I think. I think it was the 17th. That's what my memory is saying. January 17th. They both missed a court date. Then on January 29th, she's murdered. And then January 30th, 1958, there was a court-mandated appearance for the divorce. Cheers. All right. So at 8 a.m., the son, Charles Jr., left home for, I call him Charles Jr. because it's easier. The dad's name is Charles, too. Left home for school, and Malvina was still alive. At 12 o'clock, Charles went home for lunch from school, school 55. He noticed the bedroom, and I've showed you guys how close that is. School 55 is right there. So he walked home from school to the house right here. It's only about a little over a half mile walking. He noticed the bedroom was ransacked, showing signs of a struggle, but wasn't suspicious. Malvina was in the bathroom at the time when he came home, and we know that because she was talking to him. And Charles talks to his mother through the bathroom door. And there's also evidence later that she was still alive, so that makes sense. Mother tells him to eat a sandwich that is prepared on the kitchen table. She says this through the bathroom door. And then the mother also tells him, don't worry about the paper route. I'll take care of it this afternoon. So it makes it sound like at lunchtime he would do the paper route. It seems like an attempt to get him out of the house quicker. Also said, let's see. Also said, though, through the bathroom door. Also said through the bathroom door, Charles Jr. Oh, wait. That same comment was said through the bathroom door. Okay. And then at 12 o'clock, the husband, Charles, was over at a bar called Mike's Bar. Apparently he spent like an hour there. And then at 12:10, a milkman delivers milk at the home of Malvina and Charles. And Charles Jr. is there and talks to the milkman. The milkman notices the car parked in the garage. And he talks to his mom again. We don't know what was said on that one. Probably, hey, Mom, the milk's here. Okay, great. And then 12:45, a friend of Malvina named Mrs. Warning, believe it or not, called Malvina to confirm a visit, and a man actually answered, and Miss Warning actually hears Malvina say, tell her not to pick me up today. But see, I think it changed a little bit later. That was just a general statement. That was in a first article. Let's see. So I'm just going to get rid of that part. I think that's Malvina called to confirm a visit. I'll keep that in there. All right, and then she spoke to a man. He said, well, because she said, hey, can I speak with Malvina? Well, and then Mrs. Warning said, to give Malvina a message, tell her that Mrs. Kubert and I are heading over to see the work you've done on the house since the fire, basically. Malvina replies in the background, so she doesn't have the phone in her hand. Some man has the phone in her hand. And it's interesting because, if this guy's the killer, then why the hell is he calling on answering a phone? And he's like, well, he's not even sure of how he's going to, he seems like somebody that was there intentionally with her. To me, it sounds like he is I think she might have been having an affair. Okay, that's my opinion. All right, so Malvina replies in the background, tell Mrs. Warning that I have to take Buddy, that's the name of Charles Jr., that's what she called him, to school and I will pick her up at 1:30. I got to update. Up at. Jesus, that's... Right, so that's what she told the man to... Well, no. Malvina told the man to tell Mrs. Warning, I'll pick her up at 1:30. I got to drop Buddy off at school. And then 1 to 1:55. I wonder how actually Buddy got back to... I'd like to know how he actually got back to school. I think he probably just walked, but it's interesting because was he actually even still home at 12:45? That's the thing. Was he even there? And then between 1 and 1:55, Charles said he was having his shoes shined and went to a gas station. Okay, and Malvina was murdered between 12:45 and 1:40, a 55-minute period. Then at 1:40 in the afternoon, that's why 1:40's there, Mildred Warning and Florence Kubert, those were the two friends that were going to come over, and that Malvina said, hey, I'll pick you up. But they were actually supposed to drive over to her house. So it's weird that Malvina said, hey, I'll come pick you up. I mean, what would be the point of that? Why not let them just come over and you welcome him into your house? I find that's even odd to me. That I think she said that so that they wouldn't show up. She didn't want them to show up. She wanted to let them know when she was going to be there because she didn't want them interrupting. Here, I really think that there was an affair going on. I think she wanted to make sure she could get the guy out of the house that was there at that time without them accidentally showing up early to see what was going on. Okay? Does that make sense? Hey, thanks, Wally Gator. All right, so at 1:40, Mildred and Florence saw a man run from the house and drive away in Miss Krutz's 1955 Buick. So there's a lot of time after the 12:45 phone call to 1:40. Easily, the first guy could have left and maybe another person showed up. I'm having a hard time believing the killer answered a telephone call. Maybe, but he took her car. So I don't know if the guy that was having an affair is the killer. Shelley, that's the thing. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah. All right, so then at 1:55, so that was 1:40, right? They went over there, they saw a man running, the car drove north on Guilford, then west on 53rd Street. Milford and Florence went into the back door of the house, and they actually had a jacket they were going to give to the kid, Charles Jr., and they stayed in the house for 20 minutes. Then they wrote a scathing letter because they were angry. We all think it's pretty freaking weird that she was going to pick them up. Malvina was going to pick them up at 1:30, and they're so impatient that they're already over at the house at 1:40 going, hey, where are you now? That's just really bizarre. I mean, that means you left your house at 1:35. Okay, and then if she's not there, do you think maybe she's over at your house now waiting for you? Because the car, I mean, I guess the thing is when they pulled up, though, the car pulled out. So it's weird that they would get a little angry. Why didn't she think when the car left at 1:40 that perhaps the car drove away? Well, here's the thing. They saw a guy in the car. See, every time you think of something, there's something that might contradict it. I do think that she was having an affair with somebody in the house. I just explained who Buddy was, Zozo. Really clearly explained it. It's the kid, Charles Jr. All right, then 1:55, Charles Sr. visited a friend, Charles Fleck, 28. And what's amazing is that 1:55 is exactly 15 minutes from 1:40 when a guy was seen leaving the house in the car. A male was driving Alvina's car, and it's a 15-minute drive, and he shows up exactly at 1:55 at this other guy's house. And then at 2:45, he's leaving the Fleck's house, and the witness who saw him show up at 1:55 is actually the landlady, not Fleck himself, he might have came up with a different story. All right, then at 3:20, Charles Sr. seen at 202 South West Street. There's a gap here missing of like 35 minutes. Then at 3:30, he's back at the office. And then 3:35, Charles Jr. or Buddy returns home from school. Now the thing is, there's also a gap. There's this, you know, he left here at 1:55. And then what was the other? It was 1:55. No, noon. Okay, so it was the time between noon right here, because he went to Mike's bar to have lunch at noon. And then at 1:55 he shows up at his friend's house here. Okay, so his whereabouts in between there aren't really known, but he says he went to get his shoe shined, but doesn't remember where. Don't you find that almost unbelievable? Like if you had your shoe shine on a specific day, on a day, and your wife gets killed that same day, you're going to remember exactly where you got your shoe shine, especially when you're being interviewed about it a day later. Wow, I don't remember where I got my shoe shine. That's ridiculous, I think. Yeah, you're probably right about that, Sarita. I think that's probably about right. I was actually in my head a minute ago thinking they wanted to show up to see if they could catch her in the act of something, but I forgot. I didn't even think of putting that guy that was... I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's crazy. All right. Let's see. Yeah, and then the husband got home at 5 o'clock. He went in the house, and his son was watching a specific program that's going to be in a later article. And then he was like, "Where's mom?" And he goes, "Oh, she's out delivering papers." Then he went into the bathroom and he saw that the curtains were shut, and that's something that wouldn't normally be shut unless somebody was in it, in the bathtub. So then he opened it up and she was in the water, floating face up. That's his story. Okay, so that's just kind of the breakdown. I want to get back to the story here. I'm going to make a Nefarious video on this one at some point. Okay. So this is where we left off right here. Can't miss the shows, Rebecca. Can't miss them. Yeah, that's what she claimed, right? That's a ridiculous reason. I don't believe that at all. She was just coming up with the reason. No, but Debbie, what you're missing on that is on the phone, Malvina said, "I'll come pick you up." Okay? She said, "I'll come pick you up" at 1:30. So why in the hell did these two ladies... Boom! They had to get over there at 1:40. Right? Does that make any sense? See, that's the thing is, and you think they did that because they wanted to, show interest in the house? I don't know. It seems like, I think what Sarita said is more likely there. Yeah, he went into the house and he saw the room. Listen, you guys. I can't go through... I'm not going to recap every single thing in it. I'm just trying to give the general information. Okay, the timeline stuff. I want to get back to looking for new stuff, all right? Is that all right? It's like, man. Yeah, I don't care. The article said, yeah, that's probably the reason that they were going to go over to the house. But they were going to drive to the house, Debbie. They were going to go over there. But then Malvina said, nope, I'll pick you up at 1:30. And then they show up at 1:40. That seems really antsy, like they just wanted to get there. Right, I know. The original plan, well, that's what I just said. But obviously you were already typing. No, that's true that was the original reason. I agree with you on that one. But I think that the reason that they didn't wait around was, whoa, wow, who's that guy? You know? Like Sarita said. All right. A salesman who once worked with Miss Malvina Krutz, 41-year-old housewife, found slain in the bathtub of her home at 5268 Guilford Avenue on January 29th will undergo questioning at police headquarters today. Detective Sergeant Stanley P. McDonald said he is hopeful that the salesman, I wonder if that's the milkman, will be able to provide concrete leads in the mystery. McDonald emphasized the salesman is not a suspect but is regarded as a source of information. His appearance yesterday was postponed because of business commitments. Because, they sell milk too, right? Miss Krutz worked with the salesman about a year, now it's not, a half ago, placing fuel-saving devices, so not that person, in domestic heating units. McDonald said interrogation of the salesman is part of the announced plan to delve thoroughly into the background of the slain woman in an attempt to come up with new leads. The officer said the salesman appearance is strictly voluntary. McDonald said several known sex offenders have been brought in for questioning, but all were released after giving full accounts of their time the day of the slaying. All right, now we're on to the 13th. Yeah, I bet you milkman they don't do like used car salesmen. It's just milk, for God's sakes. Yeah, but just letting you know, Debbie, you're correct on the reason why they were going to go over there. They kept putting it off, and they felt bad. An appliance salesman questioned for nearly 3 hours by detectives shed little light on the background of Miss Malvina Krutz homicide. The salesman once worked with the slain woman, and it was hoped so. Detectives who had appealed to the public for tips said new leads have slowed to a trickle. Yeah, so really nothing extra in that one. So about 5 days later, bathtub death held murder. Let's see. The death of Miss Malvina Krutz, 41, Indianapolis, was murder. So now they literally say this is the coroner result. There's no more, well, we think it could be an accident. Okay. The coroner said it was a murder. Miss Krutz's body was found in the bathtub in her home by her husband on January 29th. She was badly beaten, and death was caused by drowning. She also had an aneurysm, but drowning is what killed her because they probably found water in her lung. She might have even died from the head injury, but storms ruled out any possibility of accidental death. There you go. So now, on February 18th, it's 100% ruled a murder. Worker grilled all day over bathtub murder. A worker previously quizzed in the Northside bathtub murder was being questioned thoroughly by police again this afternoon. They said some of the time elements of his story don't agree. Well, they don't say, it just says "gee," but I mean, it must be something like agree, right? They indicated they were much interested in the account of his whereabouts last January 29th. That was the day the body of Malvina Krutz, 41, was found submerged in the bathtub of her home. A lie detector test was planned if the man consents. While both Detective Earl Booth and Stanley McDonald questioned him, another team of detectives, they were on the phone checking the story he told. The man was picked up about 7:30 a.m., and the questioning was still in progress at mid-afternoon. I've got a lot of questions to ask that man. If I don't get the right answers, I may keep him, Detective Booth said. Police said, however, the man was not under arrest. The Krutz home was damaged by fire in December, and in the repair operations, several workmen were in and out of the home. And as we know from the previous show, they were getting a divorce because the husband wasn't sexually active with her. Okay? So, you know, maybe she looked elsewhere, and while he's at work, we've got several workmen over at the house all the time, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. Detectives said they were satisfied with the workman's story when he was first questioned. Yesterday, however, they received additional information, they said, and he consented to further questioning. All right. Now we're on the 20th. Suspect charged. Robert Smith, 37, a painter and paper hanger, who worked in the home of Mrs. Malvina Krutz. A week before, the 41-year-old housewife was found dead in her bathtub, was to be arraigned today on a preliminary charge of murder. Police said Smith denied any knowledge of the killing and agreed to take the lie detector test after the arraignment. Smith was first questioned on January 29th, the day Mrs. Krutz was found dead, but was not held then. Sergeant Earl C. Booth, that must be the guy that they talked to the day before. Earl C. Booth said Smith was arrested Wednesday after his alibi for January 29th failed, so that was the additional information. Police said Smith worked in the Krutz home 3 days during the previous week, repairing damage caused by a fire. They said 3 witnesses have reported seeing Smith and Mrs. Krutz together in her car and in a place of business. I mean, she may have, you know, who knows what was going on there. Krutz suspect released. Okay, so now, like the very next day, or let's see, not the next. Yeah, the very next day, a suspect arrested on a preliminary charge of murder in the bathtub slaying of Miss Malvina Krutz was released by police yesterday after a lie detector test. Boy, those lie detector tests were really absolutely relied upon back then. The test was taken voluntarily by Robert Smith, 37 years old, 1029 West 33rd Street, a painter and paper hanger, who had done repair work on the Krutz home at 5268 Guilford Avenue. Let's see. Smith agreed to undergo the polygraph examination after appearing before Judge Ernie S. Burke in Municipal Court Room 3 yesterday. Smith was one of the first persons questioned as a suspect in the case. He was released then, but arrested and charged. Why would they charge him and then release him based on a freaking lie detector test? Yeah, I mean, you've got so much information, you charge him, and then you go, okay, well, he passed it, so that means it was weak. Detective Sergeant Earl C. Booth said Smith passed the polygraph test on all points except one. Police are still not satisfied with answers he gave about reports he was seen in a car with Mrs. Krutz. Smith denies being in a car with her, although Booth said the time probably was in the 8-day period before the slaying when Mrs. Krutz was shopping for wallpaper. So he does say, well, it was probably... See, I think it's weird when people don't remember stuff like that. Don't you think it's strange? Like, how do you not remember where you got your shoes shined? All that stuff. Huh? I'm trying to figure out what you guys... Are you guys talking about what we're talking about right now? No, it's Indianapolis. It's not a small town. Can we just... Let's just focus on where we're going so we're all kind of, you know... Even as Smith was released, Booth said he is starting investigation of new evidence in the 3-week-old mystery But the detective declined to elaborate, saying only that a great deal of painstaking inquiry will be involved. Mr. Krutz, 41 years old, was found, Mrs. Krutz, dead in her bathtub of her home by her husband, Charles, when he returned from work, January 29th. All right, now we're going to the 24th. Oh, you know, listen. I mean, we need the super chats and membership and all that for donations, but there's people that are here that can't afford any stuff, so you don't need to like pressure people or anything like that. All right, just let them hang out, do what they're doing. Jesus. Yeah, it's either the husband or another lover, not the guy that answered the phone. I'm really... Let me ask you guys, how many of you think the person who answered the phone is the killer? I put a 1 if you think that, because I don't know. I'm not. I'll even vote for myself. Because why would the guy answer the phone and say, yeah, and then kind of relay messages and things? I think that they were having sex in the house, and when they heard this kid, the son coming home, they went in the bathroom. And maybe the guy is a worker there. So at 12:45, he was like, yeah, she probably said, yeah, answer it. Because he could be answering. He's a worker. I think the guy is a worker that she became attracted to during the time that they were repairing the house. Yeah, that would be ludicrously dumb, though. That would be a level of dumb that, he wouldn't have been... He'd be caught. Let's put it that way. So it's a little bit of a mix there. Painter to take third lie detector test. Okay. Detectives today planned a third lie detector test for a 40-year-old painter who is a suspect in the bathtub murder, so he's actually a suspect, of Miss Malvina Krutz, 41-year-old Indianapolis housewife. The officers again questioned the suspect, Leroy Penick, a black man who they said gave unsatisfactory answers in other lie detector tests. However, state police technicians said that Penick's admitted drinking the day before the test could have nullified the results. Jack and Jill went up the hill, each with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Ooh! There you go. Yes, everybody. So, I know this is the second show, but if you want to help out the channel, make it a push. Got to get the. I really want to build up that fund for DNA research, and still be able to donate to charities too. I mean, other, charities other than just the DNA stuff.
Jack and Jill went up the hill both with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50.
Hey, Streamlabs, it's not like that. You don't go $2.50. It's $2.50. Oh. Yeah. All right, here we go. So I just mentioned that there's a suspect here, a black man that they have. The detective said Penick had reacted strongly to questions about hitting the murdered woman and about driving the Krutz automobile. The victim had suffered a brain hemorrhage before her body was found in the family bathtub. There also were discrepancies in the suspect's account of his whereabouts at various times. Penick said he painted a barbershop on the murder day. However, the barbershop owner maintained he did the work on the day before that. So that's a pretty big deal right there. Penick is scheduled to appear in municipal court today on a preliminary charge of murder. All right.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Woo! There we go, Cairo. I let Cairo know. I said, dude, look at. Isn't that awesome or what? Come on. Yeah. Let's see what he said. You like that one? Okay, good. You're now living in infamy on the channel, right? Like that'll always be the $10 donation. Thanks, Rebecca N. You know what I'm thinking of doing is making a bunch of, you know how you've got the stickers, but I'll do it through Streamlabs where I'll put them for members only, but it'll be something, it's obviously a super chat type thing, but it'll be like some sort of an emotion thing, like but maybe I'll do all of the gifts or something. I don't know. Would that be interesting at all, or might be kind of fun? Yeah, I'll post it everywhere, really. Yeah, members. I always think of, when I say members, I always think of like it's Patreon and for those kinds of things. Like in Patreon, they all have the discount on the any merchandise they buy and everything. Patreon's a better deal too because for me, because they barely take anything. YouTube's more convenient for everybody and everything, but. All right, so now we're on the 25th. So yes, Jamie, I'll make sure. Might be kind of fun. All right. Detectives hinted yesterday they had further evidence linking 40-year-old painter Leroy Penick with the slaying of Malvina Krutz. Things are looking a lot better. Well, for you, but not him, right? However, he refused to disclose the evidence or elaborate on his remarks. His announcement came after Judge Ernie S. Burke of Municipal Court Room 3 granted a continuance until Friday on preliminary charge of murder. McDonnell also announced that psychiatric examination given Penick yesterday morning at General Hospital showed that he was sane. The test followed admission by Penick that he had dizzy spells while with the Army. What does that got to do with being sane or not? Another painter who had worked in the Krutz house at 5268 Guilford Avenue during the weeks before Mrs. Krutz was slain January 29th was cleared yesterday by a lie test. Man, they just love those freaking lie detectors. Penick was slated for a third test Thursday to confirm evidence of deception in 2 tests given Saturday. Police had not been satisfied with his answer to questions about driving the Krutz Buick and other facts about the actual slaying. Miss Krutz was found drowned in the bathtub, but she had suffered head blows and hemorrhage. She had like lacerations on her lips and a really hard blow above her eye that actually caused a brain hemorrhage. Detectives also plan to examine further a maze of mixed-up time elements in Penick's story. They said he has been uncertain about dates and his activities on the day of the slaying. All right. Paint samples may link Krutz suspect to crime. Detectives tried without success yesterday to trace the movements of 40-year-old painter Leroy Penick on the day Mrs. Malvina Krutz was killed, while the police laboratory began comparing paint stains that could link him to the crime. But Sergeant Earl C. Booth said, "It has been established that Penick was not where he claims he was on January 29th. the day the bruised and semi-nude body of Miss Krutz was found in the filled bathtub of her home. It was it was filled all the way to the overflow valve. Penick, who worked in the Krutz home in the weeks preceding the murder, I mean, that's a pretty good suspect, right? I mean, has been held since Saturday on a preliminary charge of murder. Paint stains from a rag. See, listen to this. This is new information. Paint stains from a rag that was found in Miss Krutz's stolen car, which was found abandoned 11 blocks from the Krutz home after the murder, are being compared with paint on clothing confiscated from Penick. Other paint from a barber shop where the painter worked at about the time of the murder is being checked also. So let me go back to the where's the car? I guess I haven't put that in there yet. I'll just put a note at the bottom here. Rag with paint on it in car when found. I'll put that back together later. And let's see, paint stains. All right, no report on the paint checks will be available before later today. Hey, thanks, David. Wow. I appreciate it. See, now I feel bad because on the second, the first of the month, I'll be switching it to where the second one is the, you know what I mean? So, that's what sucks. Is I'm changing the level. The lowest level is the $4.99 one at the beginning of the month. And so, thank you though. I appreciate it. I feel bad. Very kind of you. I appreciate it. Very cool. Penick of 769 Indiana Avenue. I have his address in here. So that's, looking over there. I mean, it's pretty far away where he lives. Leroy Penick. He lived right here. I'm sure it's totally different. This is 1958. But he lived there, and this is where Malvina lives, over here. He first came under suspicion when a bartender reported that Penick asked him to help establish an alibi. Wow. See, that's interesting right there. I didn't see that yet. He first came under suspicion when a bartender reported that Penick asked him to help establish an alibi shortly after the Krutz murder. Penick allegedly told the bartender, "I slapped a girl around and left fingerprints all over the place." Oh my God, that's insane. I wonder when he said that, though. Well, I gotta put those in the notes down here. Let's see. Penick asked a bartender for an alibi after stating "I slapped a girl around and left fingerprints all over the place." Okay. Well, that's a little bit more interesting now, right? Isn't this crazy, everybody? I mean, you got to admit, like, this is one of those ones where it's a little bit like Rachel Del Tondo in a way, right? Like, there's about 45 different things at this point. I still think, this guy looks good, but also the husband. And this guy fits, and he might have been somebody that showed up after. I think there might have been actually literally another guy, 2 guys that were in that house before the friends showed up. There was one that was there when the son was home and there at 12:45, but also, hey, I'll come pick. Doesn't this make sense? Let me ask you guys, doesn't this make sense what I said earlier? That the person said, not the person. Malvina told the Mrs. What the hell's her name? God dang it. All of their names are just Kuming or whatever. What was her name? Kubi? Warning. Warning was one of them. Okay, so she told Miss Warning, hey, listen, I'll come pick you up. And the reason she said that is she wanted to control the time that they would be there. Because as soon as she picked them up, she knew that the guy wasn't at the house anymore, right? You guys, what do you think about that? That's why she said that. Hey, tell them I'll pick them up at 1:30. Because she didn't want them to accidentally show up when the guy was still there. So I feel like that guy isn't guilty of anything. I think there's it's either another person, because there's a lot of workers that had access there, and then you have, or the husband. I know what you're saying up there, Zozo, but maybe. So here we go. Indianapolis police will wait until their deadline before deciding whether to file a murder charge against Leroy Penick. Penick underwent a 3rd lie detector test today, and detectives said it indicates he knows something about the murder. He was one of several workmen employed in the Krutz home last December. He has been held on a preliminary charge of murder for a week. I mean, it's interesting. Maybe there are, I was going to say 2, but then that would be 3. I think the guy that answered the phone was just a guy. Why would he even care about, why would he even answer the phone, for a hearing, and then let her say something in the background? I guess he'd need to, because then it'd be really weird. Like, why would a guy be answering the phone? And the husband could have called, right? He's been held on a preliminary charge of murder for a week and is scheduled for a hearing at 9 a.m. tomorrow in municipal court. At that time, he must either be released or be bound to the grand jury on a murder charge. Previous lie tests of Penick were inconclusive. All right. So now this next one I find had some interesting information. Malvina Krutz slaying suspect may be freed this morning. Detectives said last night that unless new evidence is uncovered, the second suspect arrested in the slaying, who is Leroy Penick, will be released. A 3rd lie detector test was given, but the results proved little, detectives said. Detective Sergeant Stanley P. McDonald said Penick in improved spirits said he had been arrested 18 times and new results of a lie detector test won't stand up in court. Yeah, see, then he's relaxed, right? So that's what I'm saying. Lie detector tests are just ridiculous. Here's how lie detector tests work. Is that they're just bogus. You just can sit there and be relaxed. And so I don't know if you guys knew this, but I learned this in college. There was some, I don't know if it was in Africa, like a tribe in Africa that's still in existence, where if there was a crime committed in the community, what they would do is line up all the men, like if it was a man who did it, and they wanted to catch who the liar was. They lined up all the men, and they would heat up a knife in a fire so it was just red hot, right? Then they would go to each man and put the knife on their tongue just a really quick, and it would always burn the guilty one because the guilty one had dry mouth because they were really nervous. The rest of them were like, oh yeah, and their mouths were wet. I think I'd be a little bit nervous, thinking, are you guys paying attention? Yeah, I don't even think that they work at all. Yeah, so that's a cool thing that works. I think you guys are like 10 seconds behind me or something. But you know what? I would have my mouth dry knowing that a knife was going to be put on my tongue. But see, over time, everybody just knew, hey, if you're innocent, it doesn't even hurt. It's similar like how you walk across coals. If you do it really fast, you don't get burned. Yeah. All right. Anyways, there's some information on here. Although, right here, all 11 persons tested so far, the lie detector indicates Penick is the only one who seems to know anything. Laboratory technicians finished test comparisons of paint found on Penick's clothing and that on the rag in Miss Krutz's abandoned car. Results were inconclusive. Tests on a hair found on a bedsheet in Krutz's home 21 days after the slaying revealed that the hair came from a black person. So there was actually hair found on a bedsheet. Okay, so that would sort of match this Penick guy, right? I don't know if they were able to. It'd be interesting if they still had. Hey, thanks, Sandy Lee. It'd be interesting if they still had the hair from this case, and then now they can do genealogy just on that little piece of hair that they found and see if it matched any lineage from any relatives that he had. Don't you think? That'd be pretty crazy. But at the time they didn't. Yeah, he worked there, but it was hair on a bed sheet, probably the one that was pulled off the end of the bed. So, I know the thing that he worked there would cause problems, because that means there's definitely a possibility. Now, if it's a pubic hair, then you got problems. Okay. All right, so that guy's still interesting to me. Okay, now there's this other. She's just mentioned in another article down here. Police said today they had found no motive in the early morning murder of David Miller, 61. Miller was shot through the heart. 2 men. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. It was the third mysterious unsolved murder in Indianapolis since November. Other victims were Theodore R. Turner, wealthy oil company executive, and Miss Malvina Krutz. That's the only mention in that one. Charges dropped after against Painter in Krutz's death. So now he's free, this guy. Prosecution of a preliminary charge of murder against Leroy Penick in the slaying of Malvina Krutz has been dropped, and police have released the 40-year-old painter, the second suspect arrested in the case. Penick of 726 Indiana Avenue was freed after an appearance at 9 a.m. Friday in municipal court. He had been held since last Saturday and took 3 lie detector tests about his activities on January 29th, the day Miss Krutz was found drowned in the bathtub of her home. Detective Sergeant Earl C. Booth said there was nothing immediate in the case. He said police will do some rechecking. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forward here. So let me put right here. Was this the one we just did? I'm going to rename this and I'll put start 2 on that one. So that's what we're going to do, but I'm going to skip forward a little bit down here to right here. So look at this craziness. So this is 1962. Krutz slaying suspect quizzed in fatal beating. So that's what he looked like. He's probably pretty attractive guy, right? This Leroy James Penick, right? Like if you were just looking at him. So I could see in that house, you know, she's in there and... Right, okay. So listen to this. A painter once held in the bathtub slaying of Mrs. Malvina Krutz was held last night in the death of his common-law wife, 27-year-old woman, who once told a detective she was an American Indian. Leroy James Penick, old woman who once told a detective... Leroy James Penick, 44, who had been a prime suspect in the unsolved 1958 murder of Miss Krutz, was arrested on a preliminary charge of murder after the battered body, I mean, it sounds the same, you know, like, you know, of Miss Carol Jean Martin was found in their apartment. Thanks, so. Detectives said Mrs. Martin, whose husband and 2 children live in Milwaukee, appeared to have suffered a terrific beating. One so severe that bruises covered almost her entire body. Penick, who underwent 3 lie detector tests before he was cleared of murder charge in the Krutz death last night, had neither admitted or denied beating Miss Martin, according to detectives. A deputy coroner, Dr. Harley Palmer, had suspected at first that she died of a skull fracture, but an autopsy showed strangulation on blood from many cuts and bruises on the head and cerebral edema. Huh, that's weird. So what do you mean strangulation? You mean suffocation? Homicide Captain Randolph L. Schubert said Penick will be questioned about the Krutz murder again, but only after investigation of Miss Martin's death is well along. Yeah. So, I mean, listen. And let me move forward here a little bit. Jury indicts painter in murder of wife. Okay. So Penick is charged with the fatal beating last March 10th of Miss Carol Jean Martin, 27, in the apartment. All right. So we had that. And trustee left jail to work as a painter. So here he is. Former Hendricks County Sheriff Leon Bayless confirmed today that Leroy James Penick, convicted of murder yesterday, was a trustee while awaiting trial. But Bayless, whose term ended December 31st, said Penick caused him no trouble, and at times he worked away from the jail without a guard. Penick was convicted of second-degree murder yesterday So he was actually convicted of second-degree murder. So now it seems like this guy, you know, I mean, what are the odds that a person that was working at her house, at Malvina's home, was a suspect and, you know, kind of didn't really do great, but they just couldn't really pin it on him. And then he ends up killing somebody later. I mean, the odds of that are so astronomically low unless you have somebody with the propensity to kill people. Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, and he ended up getting a life term given. So, a 45-year-old Indianapolis interior decorator. Wow, that's just a incredibly, interior decorator. You paint. Was sentenced to life in prison yesterday in the fatal beating of his common-law wife. Leroy James Penick was sentenced by Judge Richard J. Groover and will be taken to state prison at Michigan City tomorrow. He was convicted January 25th by a circuit court jury in the death last March 10th of Carol Jean Martin in an apartment they shared at 370 West 30th, Indianapolis. All right. Will do. Wally. All right, just had another
Have
guzzle.
one on me, tumbler glass.
What's this one? Okay, so this is 1963 also. One of the most frustrating types of murder investigation is one in which police piece together sufficient evidence to point a finger at a prime suspect, but the evidence is not sufficient to bring a conviction in court. There are one or two missing links that defy solution, yet the detectives usually are convinced they have their man. You know how many times that's wrong now? And, I'll tell you what's crazy is not everyone. A lot of the cases solved by genealogy, they end up having to apologize to a guy that they thought was a suspect for years, but never cleared, and that person basically served a life sentence. But they were just out in public. All the glances people gave them, probably hard to find a good job, all the time. Yeah, so now we're into 1963 here. Such was the brutal bathtub slaying of Malvina Krutz, 41, whose partly clothed body, I'm going to go back here in a minute, was found floating in the bathtub in the Krutz home at 5238 Guilford. This murder occurred January 29, 1958. The body was discovered by Mrs. Krutz's husband, Charles, 48. A carpenter who had repaired fire damage in the Krutz home was brought in and questioned at length. Finally, he was cleared and released. Detectives then turned their attention to a house painter who also had worked in the home. He was Leroy Penick, 37. I think he was 40, actually. Then living at 769 Indiana. After days of grilling, Penick was released because the detectives could not connect him with the crime. Incidentally, Penick was sentenced January 20... it's weird, incidentally. I don't know if it's incidentally. Penick was sentenced January 25th in Danville for the fatal beating of his common-law wife, Carol Jean Martin. The Krutz case is probably the most active in the homicide details file of unsolved murders. A week hardly passes that detectives don't spend time checking out a new bit of information. The Krutz case was also unusual in another manner. In one way, there was too much evidence. Does anybody feel the same way? Too much evidence. Penick's fingerprints were found all over the Krutz home, which is ironic since he told the bartender the same thing. Technicians could find no other prints except those of members of the Krutz family. There you go. I think if he'd taken this to trial, he would lose. Especially after the murder of his common-law wife. I don't know if you could bring that up, but a friend of the slain woman had talked with a man who answered the Krutz phone at about 12:45, the day of the murder. This man apparently left the Krutz home later in Mrs. Krutz's car. I don't think that was... Well, let's see. Well, what if it was the guy that came over? Hey, here's an interesting thing. What if the guy did drive away in her car? The guy that was there peacefully, like they were having sex, but she goes, "Hey, take my car. I'll go get it later." Whatever. And he drives it and he parks it on a street somewhere because he had to get the hell out of there or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to say there's about 1,000 ways you could go through this. Because maybe when they were about to take off and he was going to drop her off, but he goes, "Oh my God." She said, they're here, they're coming now. I don't know, but obviously that couldn't have happened because they're down the road, right? Oh man, my brain's going to fall off. I need a baseball bat. Because I think she was in the bathroom with a guy. I think there might have even been somebody over at the house already. Okay? And that's why she never came out of the bathroom. I've said that like 40 times, Zozo. God. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I think she was having an affair with one of the people that were, working on the house. Her husband wasn't having sex with her. So you've got these guys coming over, and maybe she started flirting, and then one of them seemed attracted. And I think that's who was there, and I think that's even the one who answered the phone at 12:45. I don't think that person killed her. There'd be no reason to do so. And I think it'd be really ridiculous for the killer to have answered the phone. And yes, there are dumb killers out there. The Krutz case was also unusual in another manner. Penick's fingerprints were found all over the Krutz home. A friend of the slain woman had talked with a man who answered the Krutz phone at 12:45, the day of the murder. This man apparently left the Krutz home later, and I don't know if that's the same guy, though. Could be. But who was the man? We have always thought that someone who lived in the neighborhood or who passed by the Krutz house that January 29th may have seen the murder, but nobody saw the murder. Maybe murderer, but no one has come forth with information. Schubert confides. So Schubert said that. So who is Schubert? I can't find. I don't remember where Schubert is here. Although at an apparent dead end, the Krutz investigation goes on. Is Schubert a detective? That would make what he was just saying there a little bit more interesting about the fingerprints. And he wouldn't mind talking about it now because the guy's got a life sentence. Okay, I am now going to... Wait, hold on, what's this one? Penick has been serving a life term in Minneapolis State Prison, Michigan since beginning. I'm not sure what this case is about. Why are they bringing up Penick in there? Painter. Oh, yeah. See, Marion County Prosecutor Noble R. Piercy was fuming yesterday over an order for a new trial in Hendricks Circuit Court for Leroy James Penick, 45-year-old Indianapolis painter. Wow. Convicted of second-degree murder in the fatal beating of his common-law wife. We're very disappointed. A jury in the court at Danville convicted Penick of the murder before Judge Richard J. Groover in January. Defense attorneys moved for a new trial a few weeks later, and Groover last Friday ordered a new trial. Wow. Groover said the transcript of the trial showed that malice was not proven. What do you mean not proven? He beat her to death. Piercy recalled that Groover allowed the case to go to the jury. The victim, Miss Carol Jean Martin, 27, was found fatally beaten in an apartment she shared with Penick. Penick once was questioned in the bathtub slaying of Miss Malvina Krutz. I don't know what the result was of the second trial. I didn't see any more information on it. Crazy. There it is. So there's start. I'm going to go back in time now. 1958, March 9th. Oh, Jesus. Are you drinking tonight, Billy Boy Blue? You're getting nutty again. Of course, I'm having a drink, so. But I won't do that meatloaf. Man, whatever that means, Gene. Thanks, Zozo. Alright, now we're on... I mean, she was pretty. Look at that. It looks like... what's-her-face from Wizard of Oz. But see, hey Jamie, your nutty wouldn't be the same as Billy Boy Blue. You see what I'm saying? No, not Dorothy. Judy Garland. Yeah. New police teams to find likeness in 2 murders. There's Zozo again. Copycat. New detective teams assigned to unravel Indianapolis unsolved murders will find a strong likeness between 2 of them. Thanks, Billy Boy Blue. The killings of tavern owner Dave Miller and oilman Theodore Turner appeared coldly deliberate, like executions that had other similarities. A new team already had taken over investigation of the 3rd unsolved case, the bathtub slang.
And I would do anything for love, but I just won't do that.
So not anything then. That would confuse a computer. Just like on that Star Trek episode when Spock said to the computer, or the android, everything that I say is a lie. I am lying right now. And then it's like, but if everything you say is a lie, and you're lying right now, then what you said wasn't a lie, but if everything you say is a lie, then... And it went in this weird computer, and then steam started coming out of its ears, okay? They got trapped in an endless loop. A new team already has taken over investigation of the 3rd unsolved case, the bathtub slaying of Miss Malvina Krutz. Reason for the Miller and Turner shooting is vague. Gunmen in both slangs waited for their victims. They seemed to know where to go. They shot. That's that other case. Anyways, right over here is the Miss Krutz part. 2 suspects were charged with murder early in the case, but were released for lack of evidence. The lie detector has been freely used to no avail. As in the other cases, robbery has been ruled out. Miss Krutz's purse with money in it was found hanging on a doorknob in her home. That's right, I always forget that part. Yeah, so there was money in her purse hanging on a doorknob, so robbery wasn't the motive. And it doesn't appear she was sexually assaulted. So then the motive, which is weird though, because if she was having an affair in there, wouldn't there be signs that she did have sex, right? A frustrated attempt at rape might have resulted in the slaying. You know, but here's the thing, is she could have had, listen, you want to hear something? It could have been that there was a guy over there and they weren't really having sex, you know, they were kissing and that kind of thing, right? And their son came home, so they bolted into the bathroom really quick, her son. And then that's why she was talking through the door. But then later, at 12:45, he's out. Now they're walking around in the house again, and it's okay because now it's just a phone call. It doesn't matter that somebody's, there's nobody going to see him in there, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Ah, Jesus. Yeah, well, all the evidence points that she was Jennifer, so. Yeah. Both of you guys, Gwen, everybody. It makes more sense that she was having an affair. Because the guy answers the phone and says, well, yeah, and then lets her talk, and yeah. Anyways, let's see. Was struck a blow which caused a brain hemorrhage. Her body was placed in the... because the thing is she says, I'll pick you guys up. Tell them I'll pick them up at 1:30. That was to keep them from just showing up unannounced when the guy was still there. That's what I get from it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But maybe he was still there or something. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he came home earlier than expected or something. She did make the sandwich. Yeah, but it sounds like it wasn't that weird for Miss Warning. She said that there had been so many people working there that, they just answer the phone. And, I'd like to know how they answered the phone. Did they say, Krutz residence, or, just, hey, hello, that kind of thing? It's cutting it kind of close, though. Right, but they could pretend. It didn't have to be a secret affair if he was a worker and they were always answering phones. So it wouldn't matter if he answered the phone. It'd be, hey, can you get that phone? And he answered it. And then she's in the background and she's throwing out comments. Oh, hey, it's your neighbors, Oh yeah, tell them I'll pick them up at 1:30. How does a conversation like that get into a bashed in the face, smothered and put in the bathtub? Now, it's not like... I get it if it was somebody... If there hadn't been a fire and there hadn't been workers at the house, then no way in hell would I want... if I was her, let a guy answer the phone. Nah, I don't know about that. Maybe. It depends. It was a different time back then. I don't think she told her friends, but I think Sarita was right, like why they showed up. I think that was Sarita that said that. Who said that? Was that you? Why they showed up quickly. Oh, I'll pick you up at 1:30. Oh, shit, they're there at 1:40 already. So that's... I think that sort of makes you believe that they were like, wait, who's that guy? Let's go over there really quick, see if we can catch him. Little nosy bodies. Well, yeah, of course she was, married and everything. I think maybe it was even an attempt to seem like there was nothing going on. Oh, well, why, if I was having an affair, why would I let him answer the phone? Okay, here's an example, right? Let's say somebody saw a guy in the house and they called the husband and say, hey, you better check over there. Well, the guy answers and he goes, oh, no, I'm here. I'm painting now. It's just, it would almost make it seem less likely there was an affair because he was actually answering the phone, right? And what I'm saying is true because you're saying, no way I would do it if I was having a secret affair, right? Well, if you answer the phone, it seems like, oh, well, who the hell would do that if you're having an affair? And I'm still opening up the door where the husband, after he probably he could have been sitting in his own car somewhere around there, and he was watching, and he saw the guy leave the house. Then he went in and killed her, drove, and he's the one that was driving the vehicle. Although it does say later on that people observed a black person driving that vehicle. So that's interesting, right? Which matches Penick again. And they said that he was really... Here's something interesting. See, Penick has... His features are kind of like mixed race features, right? And somebody said that he looked... They said it was a very, very dark complected man that was driving that car. Which, that's pretty interesting, right? There's nothing to think about the fire. Everybody keeps talking about the fire. There's nothing to think about. It's just a fire that happened. We don't know anything about it. And what purpose? Oh, hey, let's have a fire in your house so I can show up as a worker, and then I can have regular visits there. Nobody would question it. No, he would park it down a couple blocks away, walk over there, then park the car 11 blocks away, walk back to his car, then drive over to his buddy's house. Although, here's what I think. I think if he was going to do that, he would have parked the car near where he got out of his car, or where he parked her car. So they both had a car. Yeah, I know what you're talking to, but what difference does it make? Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Here we go. Yeah, Jesus. I'll talk to you later. I've got so much information for you, Zozo. I've got all kinds of really sleuthy stuff. I can write about a 16-page document. I'll send it over to you. On the fire itself. Well, but it's not in the paper. Oh, it's all speculation, of course, but... let's see. I think I'm just going to go to the next article. There's zero information on the fire, okay? So anything that anybody comes up with is wild speculation. That's all it is. Suspect hinted by star reader in Krutz killing. Indianapolis Star readers yesterday provided police with likely suspects in the unsolved slaying of Miss Malvina Krutz. With likely suspects? Come on. As clues in these two Indianapolis 4 unsolved murders came into the Star, and police detectives said they are confident that a break will come in the gang-style shooting of Dave Miller. She's in here too again. But these are just kind of like, yeah, trying to get some information out about the case, but nothing really there. Oh, you're heading to bed. Good night, Jamie McLaughlin. Yeah. My thing is, I don't know either one. Right, but there's really nothing anybody can say about the fire, right? Other than wild speculation. Could have just been a fire in the house and they had workers come over and she got interested in one of the guys. Maybe. I don't know. It could have been that somebody was over at the house already, held her in the bathroom. It's interesting that he would answer the phone, though, at 12:45. That's weird. No matter how you look at it, it's weird that the guy in the house with her at 12:45, if he is the killer, it's incredibly ridiculous that he answered the phone and was literally relaying words back and forth because she was doing something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't even know what you're talking about, Julie. Nobody said it was. You could have just said, "Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the fire. There isn't really anything." That's all. That's all I'm saying. Ah, jeez. You know what I hate when you guys, the moderators and everybody, do these little code love things? Like, here's a purple heart for Julie. You're so wonderful. Hey, everybody. Look, I'm just saying, you don't need to do little code stuff. Just type in, if you really think you got something, you nailed something on the fire, type it in, okay? I get really sick of the little, the code crap going on. The little, everybody sees it all the time too. They message me about it. Okay, so let's not do it. Yeah, there's nothing to glean from knowing that there was a fire. A month before. Yes, there was a fire in the house, and they had to. Yeah, but there's nothing to be loving about, Jennifer. Okay, you get what I'm saying? There's nothing. So what you're saying is, I support you. I get it. That's not what's going on here. I'm just saying. You can sit there all day. Oh, I'll write you up something on the fire. This is what's going on. There isn't anything. Okay. There's no news on it. Yeah, I get it, but there was no reason to say that. We're just having a conversation. Yeah, it's just, yes, you're right, everybody. There was a fire at the house. That's why workers were over there. That's probably how she met somebody. Okay? Now, they were going through a divorce and she was getting the home, right? So who knows? Yeah, see, you guys are doing these weird conversations back and forth now. Well, we don't know that she stopped the divorce because the last article, one of the articles that we read said that, one of the articles we read, the two friends said she was excited because she's going to get the house in the divorce. The only thing that happened is that her and her husband missed a divorce hearing on the 17th, but they had another mandatory one scheduled for the 30th, and she was killed a day before that. You see what I'm saying? Right. So I guess a theory you could have with the fire would be that the husband knew that he was losing the home and wanted to burn it down. Okay? Other than that, though, all it did was lead to guys showing up at the house, and eventually she slept with... oh, I don't know. Who the hell knows? Anyways, I just get so frustrated sometimes in here. Yeah, there's a lot of random stuff going on. Yeah, I don't think there was anything stopping the divorce. I know there is a lot of, just like Rebecca said, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. Yeah, why are you asking, Mary? Was doing just fine. Until you see the little code stuff going on. Yep. Ah, jeez. I'm gonna stop the show. It's getting stupid now. All right, everybody. Maybe tomorrow we'll go ahead and catch up and get it all finished. All right. So I can just see like Zozo's last comment. Everybody's, you know, it just keeps going and going. And I just hate it. It's like grade school shit, you know. So I don't want to do it. I just want to have normal shows and everything's great. It'd be awesome. Yeah, I love the crime story too. I don't know, man. You know, I don't know. I always feel like there's these little sort of cliques that form and little comments, and you see them all the time. I just don't say anything regularly. Right, but see, the thing is, I'm doing a show. There's, you know, the flirting stuff, all this other stuff. It's just really, it's not really that interesting or fun for me. I know that people like the channels where everybody just gossips and sits around and stares at the screen, has 15, what do you call it, like 15 people on the screen staring, all bullshitting about absolutely meaningless drivel, and everybody hangs out and chats because it's fun. You know, I'm actually trying to figure shit out, you know. I'm not like the other, you know, live shows where everybody's just hanging out. I mean, it's fun, like we're, you know, but whenever it gets like this, where people whine and cry, it's not fun at that point. You know, I'll catch up with you another time. You know, like this is just too much for me. You know, look at, here's the deal. If you're just in and out all the time and you're not actually following along, it's frustrating because things have been ruled out already, you see? That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Jennifer. Maybe I'll just do like a, how about like I'll do like a 5-minute break with the freaks wearing stuff. We'll play the music and I'll come back. Play some of this the jazz music. All right, how can you not be happy after this? All right, all the happiness. Thanks, Shelley Wagner.
where the hell is Gray? Where the hell is he?
Yeah, where the hell did he go? He said 5 minutes.
Well, anyway, hey, thanks, Zozo. I'll let Gray know. You! Where the hell is he?
Hey, I'm right here. Jesus. God, leave me alone. Anyways, I apologize to Julie W. and anybody else out there. You know, sometimes it just starts getting, and Zozo, frustrating when the conversation's all over the place. Especially when we're... No, it's Zozo, not Zoe, okay? It gets all over the place, and people start really focusing in on something that's really, there's no information on, you know? Like the fire, for example. There was not one article about it. We don't know what the fire was. Could have been that the kid knocked over a candle, and it lit the wall. But anyways, I apologize for, being an ass. Hey, I can be an ass, right? Nobody said I couldn't be an ass. All right, Julie W., so I apologize. Who the hell can't be an ass? You too, Jennifer Rochelle. Who the hell else? Oh yeah, not Gene Fish though. I gotta always, come on, Gene Fish. Yeah, Gene Fish, you're the last person that should be giving a hard time to anybody. As man. Yeah. Anyways, Julie probably took off, so didn't know. It's alright though. It's okay. I'm not even sure where I was. Is it right here? Oh yeah, we did that. Aces are my... Oh yeah, and I saw your Billy Boy Blue up there. Thank you. You gave me 20 and then you said $25 make you holla. Well, where's the other 5? Okay, there it is, the 10. Thanks. Oh, God. Yeah, I knew it. You were going to write me a big long... Oh, man. Anyways, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can be an ass sometimes. I know I'm not, yeah. You know. There it is. Oh, God.
Chewbacca?
My neck doesn't even look real there. Look at my neck. It's weird looking.
Aces are my favorite people.
Anyways, I'm gonna make I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make like, a few different emojis that are like me doing things like, what the hell is, something like that. Maybe, or maybe I'll have a 3D here. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Well, good, Julie. I mean, we're all family. We get in arguments sometimes. It's like sitting around at a, like I said, Thanksgiving. Well, maybe not Thanksgiving, but a get together, and then all of a sudden somebody says this, and then there's an argument, and then happens. Well, hey, David, this is the Freak family, okay? We've been hanging out here for a long time, so it always everybody likes everybody. It's only when people can't, you know, like at one point go, I just can't deal with it. Then they leave, right? Right. But we do good stuff here. Like I say, last year we donated $22,000 to charity. I show it right on the air. And then we also moved forward $1,000. So $23,000 was allocated last year. Another $1,000 was moved. I mean, the 23rd thousand was moved to this year for DNA. We were trying to get it used on a 1961 hitchhiker that was killed. It wasn't a murder, but he's been unidentified for years, and he seems like somebody that actually should be able to be identified. Thanks, Wally Gator. Yeah, that's right, Mary. Well, you can chat about whatever the hell you want to chat about. I don't see but about 10%, so you just get unlucky sometimes. Yeah, hey Julie, just chat whatever we want to talk about. But what I like it is if it's related to the current information that we're discussing. Because let's say I'm talking about something that's really crucial to a case. You know, like, oh wow, he left the letter in the house. Oh, look at he did that. And then people are still talking about a note left on a refrigerator, 6 articles before. Then all of a sudden they go, wait, what did I miss? And then everybody has to do it. I mean, maybe I should have, when I do these types, because I think I might try to do more of these, longer ones. We should have like 30 minutes and then 10 minutes where everybody gets caught up. We know what we're doing. Then we move on to the next one. Something like that. What do you think? I don't know. It's hard to do that, though. That's the thing. It's hard to actually stop sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so now let me see. Where is page 1 of this? What is... Okay. The keys to a car used by Miss Krutz have been missing since the day of her slaying. And you guys remember that the keys were found. Let's open up the diagram. The keys were found. They were in a bowl on this table, and I think this is the same table where the sandwich was, which is weird because look how close the mom. Basically, you're sitting here. That's probably the stool. You look to your left, and there's the bathroom door where Mom was with some guy in the bathroom. I think everybody thinks that there was a guy in the bathroom. I really can't think of another reason for her not to have come out the entire time. They even said in one article that she would have came out. She was a really caring and loving mom, and her son was her life, basically, and would do anything for him. So would have came out of the bathroom. So most people believe that there was a guy in the bathroom with her at that time. Interestingly, obviously after the son left, after Buddy leaves the home, a phone call came in at 12:45. So that means Buddy was there less than 45 minutes. A phone call came in, and a guy, most likely the guy that she was in the bathroom with, answered the phone because now they're out and about. See, what I think of is the bathroom was the safe house while the son was home. See, what I'm picturing is that they were in the house, maybe in the bedroom. That's why the sheets maybe are down like this. Things were going on in the bedroom here. Then all of a sudden, oh my God, I forgot my kid's coming home. Boom. But she made the sandwich. So I don't know. That part is confusing, I'll admit. Except we don't know exactly, you know, does she make a sandwich, put it out earlier, and just sort of forgot about it? Then they bolt into the bathroom and shut the door, and shit, she's probably half naked at the time. You know, and she's like in there just, oh crap, yeah. Hey, I'm busy, yeah, eat the sandwich. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll deliver the papers. Hey, and then he goes, okay, great. And then so he leaves early because he didn't have to do the paper. And then they're out and about again in the house after the son leaves, and then the phone rings. The sandwich is something that causes problems. Right? We should do a whole show called The Perplexing Sandwich, like Carly Levine just said, right? Because a sandwich does cause issues. It's like, yeah, well, that's weird. She made a sandwich at 11:30, 11:45, and all of a sudden she's in the bathroom knowing her son's going to come home any minute now, and, you know. And then he was there for longer. So he was there from at least 12 to 12:45. That guy. Okay, so we have, you know, if there's two guys, we know that the guy, I think the guy that she was in the bathroom with is the person who answered the phone. Is that the guy who got in the car and drove away in her vehicle? That's the thing. Is that the same guy? Because there's a lot of time. There's almost 55 minutes after that phone call. But here's the thing is, see, this is what's crazy about it, is she says, God, it's so freaking bizarre. God, it's so weird. This is where you sort of think the possibility that the two women did it, you know? But they didn't do it because a kid down the street. It's so bizarre because listen to this, how this works. So at, let's see, 12:45, the phone call's made. Shit, my brain is just, you know, when you have to think about all this stuff. Malvina at 12:45 gets the phone call, and on that call, she goes, oh shit, she probably remembered, oh yeah, well, the friends wanted to come over, but maybe it was on that call. The friends didn't tell her, like it wasn't a planned thing maybe. Or no, maybe it was because they said they were calling to double check on it. All right, so they were going to come over to the house, and then she tells the guy to tell Malvina, hey, I'll pick them up at 1:30. And the reason I believe she did that was to make sure that they didn't come over to the house while the guy was still there, because that way you're controlling the situation. If she said, yeah, come on over, well, hell, they might go over there at 1:20, 1:25, and the guy's still there, and then problems happen, right? So then you could go, well, she said, I'll drive over and pick them up at 1:30. And then, I mean, the way it was described, it isn't likely what I'm about to say, but somehow they realize that they're pulling up to the house, which is hard because they said they were driving down the street, they saw a car back out, then they had to slow down, and then but that would mean she was still alive in the house, because maybe she said, oh, take my keys, drive away. So he ran out of the house really quick and drove away. But it's way more likely that she just isn't alive anymore, because obviously they went into the house and she wasn't speaking or saying anything. And eventually she's found dead in the bathtub. So she was dead at the time that they entered the home. Right, she made up an excuse. Yeah, I gotta drop the kid. Yeah. Gotta drop him off at school, but that wasn't true, right? Because he went to school on his own. Because that would don't you think, Sarita, that for sure that would be part of the story in the papers by the son saying, yeah, she drove me back to school. That would be a huge part of the story. That was never mentioned at all. So that means she did not drive him back. But she used that as the excuse as to why she needed to pick up the two women. So that's why she said, oh yeah, I gotta drop my kid off at school anyways, I'll pick you up. That way he's freeing up time. Right. Man, I'm just trying to this is just, it's mind-blowing. You know what? Everything that the police say is exactly true on like how crazy, you know, like they couldn't figure out. I get it. You know, I get it. Totally get it. So that's what's interesting then. So let's say she was trying to free up time to have everything is on her time now. Okay, you know, maybe she was even going to drop the guy off somewhere because she was going to leave the house at, you know, probably 1:20, drop the guy off, and that would be the time, you know, and then go pick up them and then drive them home later. She didn't want them to show up randomly. You could also make the argument that she said she would pick them up to not get them, and thinking that they would just never show up so that they wouldn't be harmed by whoever she was with. That is an argument you could make. Yet anybody that, then it's so strange that even Miss Warning, ironic name, said, yes, she said that she was going to pick us up at 1:30, and yet her and the other lady show up at the house at 1:40. So wanting, it's almost like they wanted to get there to catch the person that they heard on the phone at 1:45, the man who answered the phone. Because why would you go over that quick? Wouldn't you wait till at least 1:45 to then go, let's go over now, and then you get there at 1:50. 1:50 I wouldn't be that weird about it. 1:40 means you waited till about 1:35 and said, screw this! We're not waiting anymore. Right, nosy Betties. They drove over there. And when they get there, lo and behold, a car is pulling up, which was verified by a kid in the neighborhood, which in effect clears the two women. Because there was a possibility that the 20 minutes that they account for was them killing her in the house. But a person said they also saw a car backing out of the driveway, driving north then west. I know, the sandwich, man. The sandwich, Jennifer. It's causing problems. That damn sandwich. It's like, you know what it's like, the sandwich? The Molly Tibbetts case, the red t-shirt. Do we really know much about the sandwich? Was it really? Maybe it was in the refrigerator and she said, eat it on the table, and he went and got it. Then it's a whole different game. She could have made the sandwich earlier in the day. I mean, we don't have the exact quote that was said, right? Right. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. So now we get back down to, I think we just did these. Did we do that one? The letter? I think we... Oh, yeah. Was a burglar surprised in the Krutz home? No. What a ridiculous What do you mean? Did a transient see her family leave? Well, this is almost like this person here never even read or knew anything about the case. Listen to this. Was a burglar surprised in the Krutz home? Did a transient see her family leave and plan an assault? Who saw him go up to the house? That's ridiculous. What are you talking about? The car was in the driveway. She was there the whole time. None of this in this sentence here made any sense. I think we were on this one, part of this one. Let's see. Okay, the keys to a car used by Miss Krutz have been missing since the day of the slaying, January 29th. The car, believed driven by her slayer from her home at 5268 Guilford Avenue, was recovered the next day in the 4900 block. We know exactly where it was. The keys given to police were not for the Krutz car, but the reader's action is exactly what detectives want. The next set turned in might prove the tip needed to solve the case. Miller, owner of the Happy Hour Tavern at 537 West Washington Street, was shot to death. Okay, a different story. Turn to page 17, which is... yeah, we're still way up here. That's page 16 now. Let's see. Was a burglar surprised in the Krutz home? When did Miller's slayer and his man and woman companion... when did Miller's... oh, that's a different case. Write your tip. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. It's just about writing tips. All right, now we're going to move on to April 11th. So now we're a good 3 months after the murder, basically. Or not 3, about 2.5 months. Months, M-U-N-T-S. Krutz case, clues get big boost. Oh, wow, big boost. The bathtub slaying of Mrs. Malvina Krutz is demanding the attention of most Indianapolis citizens searching for clues. Now notice again, C-L-E-W-S. Every single article spells it that way. Isn't that crazy, everybody? I mean, so it really was spelled that way at some point. The English spelling. Because it's in all the papers, not just the one paper. Right, but you can use the emoji, CR. Hit the emoji button and hit the clues. You don't have to type it in. Yeah, see, there you go. You got it. Well, maybe you ate the whole sandwich, Gene. You ever think of that, Gene? Ate the whole sandwich, and what do you mean no remains of the sandwich were found? Another mystery. You know, I don't think anybody's mystified at all. The kid ate the whole damn sandwich and put the plate in the sink, for God's sakes. Well, the articles didn't mention the plate in the sink, so how do we know that the... I don't know. You're right. Okay, good. Okay, good. Next time, put the little joke emoji in there. I swear to God, I read an article where there was crust still sitting on the edge of a plate. I know it. Not even a crumb, Kubi. They couldn't find a damn crumb. The kid licked the plate clean. It was unbelievable. In fact, the father... not even knowing the plate was used, it was licked so clean, put it back up in the cabinet. which I do often after I let my dogs lick the gravy off of a plate that I might be eating from. I don't eat plates. Plates are hard to eat. We got a lot of one-liners on this one. Okay, here we go. Krutz case clues get big boost. The crumbs on a plate were found... Oh, wait. No, I'm just kidding. The bathtub slang of Mrs. Malvina Krutz is demanding the attention of most Indianapolis... Not the bathroom. Jesus Christ. The bathtub slang... The bathtub is demanding... Okay, hold up. The bathtub slang of Mrs. Malvina Krutz is demanding the attention of most Indianapolis citizens searching for clues and leads in the city's 4 unsolved murders. So now they're mentioning a whole bunch of them again. Let's see. Yeah. Let me go to the next one. Inspector Robert E. Riley, head of the Police Detectives Division. Why does it mention the Krutz case there? Like it barely even mentions it. Yeah. Well, anyways, these kind of articles like this don't really have many updates in them. So let's see. April 16th. Okay, clue is added. Here we go. The unsolved bathtub slang of Mrs. Malvina Krutz took a new turn yesterday as police examined clues, CLEWS, turned over to them by the Indianapolis Star. An entirely new and interesting light has been shed on the investigation, said Robert E. Riley, Inspector of Detectives. Riley added that letters which contained the new lead in the slaying of the pretty North Side housewife also furnished a promising clue in the murder of Dave Miller, owner of the Happy Hour Tavern. So it's almost like they're related or something. I don't know. These are 2 of 4 unsolved murders dating back to 5 months here. Others are shootings of Theodore R. Turner. Okay, so along with these new developments in 2 of the cases, 4 of the 11 cab drivers robbed recently reported to police headquarters in an attempt to identify suspects in a lineup. The drivers were called in on the theory that a robber may have killed Campbell and perhaps took part in robberies involving other drivers. Let's see. Clues on which police acted yesterday were received by the Star, which had offered a total of $20,000 in rewards for tips leading to arrest and conviction of the unsolved murders. You may know something which will help solve one of the mysteries and bring you the $5,000 reward offered for conviction in each case. If you have a clue, write, it said. I'm sure the next page is tiny. It's weird. It's almost like they're using Krutz, like some of these YouTubers who put Delphi murders and then talk about something totally different. Like they keep putting Krutz clue when they're really not really talking about it much, but they want people to read it. Because it was such a big case at the time. All right, now we're going to June 13th here. Wait a minute, the sandwich was put in the mailbox? Right, yeah, exactly. Clickbait, except they didn't have clickbait back then. Hey, good night, David. Hey, thanks for becoming a channel member. Thanks for the support. Yeah, I do a show every single night of the week, basically. That's why we get in fights sometimes. I'm sick of that gray guy. Hey, and good job taking care of your kids. I saw that comment way up above. You're like, my mom did the same thing. She had 3 boys, took care of them all by herself. So, I know it's not easy. Man admits murder, police check story. Police held a 26-year-old Indianapolis man today for investigation of his statement that he killed Mrs. Malvina Krutz. Captain Michael J. Smiley said the man, James D. Rogers, admitted killing Mrs. Krutz. Captain Smiley said detectives were not fully convinced by his statement, but many details did check out. You mean the ones that you put in the newspaper? Rogers was returned here from Gary Thursday on warrants charging grand larceny and issuing fraudulent checks. Miss Krutz was found beaten and drowned in the bathtub at her home January 29th. And it's like stuff like this is why they quit putting stuff in the paper. Because you get people that know too many details and they come in, it's like, yeah, wow, you're right on the money. And then you realize that every single thing that he said has been in the paper. So he was going to go take the lie detector test. He went home with Miss Krutz after she flirted with him in a North Side restaurant. During an argument, Rogers said he struck the woman with his fist. When she failed to regain consciousness, he put her in the bathtub. That's all in the paper. Miss Krutz's husband found her body. She had been beaten and drowned in the brimming bathtub. Rogers said he left the house in Mrs. Krutz's car, in the paper, threw the keys in a gutter, and wiped the car's interior with a rag. Yeah, so that's stuff that you could just invent, because you knew that they hadn't found the keys yet. Sergeant Booth says discrepancies between Rogers' story and facts in the case have prompted the lie test. Rogers had given inaccurate details about the clothing Miss Krutz wore. Phone calls received while he... Yeah, so he didn't know about the 1245 call. But, to be honest, I don't know if it was the guy. That's the thing. So, see, the 1245 call was the nice guy in the house, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Wouldn't shock me at all if it was somebody else, but too many things are weird about that. His case on those accounts was... Let's see. Rogers was picked up at Gary in charges of grand larceny with issuing a fraudulent check. His case on those counts was continued to June 27th yesterday in Municipal Court, Room 3. Police were put on his trail by a former roommate who said Rogers left the apartment with some of the roommate's clothing and checkbook. Yeah, I don't know why he was saying this, but some people think they can get something out of it. No, it wasn't the son answering the phone. It was some guy with an accent. So this is one that I found on that other website. Let's see if there's anything new in it. The other, not newspapers.com. Right. Let's see. A man who confessed to the bathtub slaying of an Indianapolis housewife withdrew his confession yesterday, but told police he would name the real killer. So that same guy. Officers quoted James Rogers, 26, as saying he was sick and confused when he confessed to the January 29th killing of Miss Malvina Krutz. Police said they had doubted Rogers' story since he was returned here from Gary Thursday on warrants charging him with grand larceny and forgery. Gary police said Rogers first told them he was in the Krutz home when a companion identified as a house painter killed the woman. When returned to Indianapolis, he changed the story and said he did the killing himself. The polar bear is a power... Well, it's a different story. I thought it continued over here. Let's talk about the polar bear for a while. Let me scroll over. Oh, Jesus. Let's see. Okay, now we're going on the 17th. The polar bear. Ah! Come on. That's pretty good. Why was there a polar bear on that clip? That's crazy. All right. So anyways, Krutz suspect names killer. Okay. So James D. Rogers, the 26-year-old former hotel cook whose turnabout statements have baffled detectives yesterday, named the man he said murdered Mrs. Malvina Krutz. Inspector of Detectives Robert E. Riley said Rogers revealed the identity of the alleged killer in the latest interview by detectives. Police will use the information supplied by Rogers to make a thorough investigation of the new suspect, although the one-time cook's previous statements differ sharply from one interview to another. Since his arrest Wednesday at Gary, Rogers has changed his story at least 4 times. Rogers is looking less and less like a prime suspect in the Krutz case. They have many discrepancies. Yeah, so anyways, it's not him. Rogers was picked up at a Gary on charges of grand larceny. Yeah. So, totally bogus. Tip on Krutz tub murder, unproductive. So, I won't even read that one. Okay, so now, here's something crazy. Charles E. Krutz injured in car crash. Charles E. Krutz, husband of the victim in one of Indianapolis, this is just later in the year in September, so 8 months later. Indianapolis' most sensational murder mystery, was injured critically, and his mother was killed last night in an auto truck collision on US 35. Hey, thanks. Leave a G. Oh, really? Awesome.
Long-time listener. Finally joined the Freak Fam. Need a fam and feel like I know y'all. Victory hand.
Well, that's cool. You should comment, start joining the chat so I can bitch at you too. I'm just kidding. Well, actually I'm not. But, I was mildly joking there. But yes, just joining in the chat. We're just like a big family, arguing, bitching, having normal conversations. It's, I don't know how to explain it. It's definitely different. I know some people, I make them angry, and however it goes. Yeah, so make sure to, thank you very much. Oh, cool. Yeah, so make sure you, join in the conversations. What does that mean, leave a G? Or is it like Lee Ava G? Yeah, so isn't that crazy? He got in this really wicked car accident that killed his mom. Killed instantly in the crash at 10 p.m. at the southern edge of Thornhope, 10 miles south of Winmac, was Mrs. Fanny Krutz, his mother. I make you angry every day, Billy Boy Blue? Come on. I don't know if it's karma. His mom didn't deserve it, did she? Not that we know of. Where was she that day? Oh boy, there we go.
Chewbacca? I'll be Chewbacca.
He was injured critically though.
Ray makes me angry every day. That's why I give him my money.
Wow, that's awesome. If I can make people angry and give me money, I think I'd be a millionaire. We need more Billy Boy Blues. Yeah, we need like 100 Billy Boy Blues out there. But that's one thing, you know, when you donate on this channel, a large portion goes to the charities and the things that we are working on as a team. Okay, reported in grave condition and near death in Logan's, let's see, hospital was her 49-year-old son, a sales executive with Indianapolis Trucking. So he was in, look at that, he was in grave condition, like he was about to die. That's what he looks like. You know, he doesn't, you know, not that we know what killers look like. He just looks like sort of this random, and it's a side shot, but man, he was in grave condition. And I did find out that he lit. Let me show you. I do have this. I can throw it out there. Charles E. Krutz, services for Charles E. One thing that I found interesting about this. Tell me what you guys find interesting. Krutz, 70 of 9403 Sheila Drive, Lawrence. This is in Indianapolis. A semi-retired freight salesman for several trucking companies, will be held at 1 p.m. Tuesday in Flanner and Buchanan Shadeland Mortuary. He died Saturday in St. Vincent Hospital, a Magnet native. He lived in Indianapolis 40 years. Mr. Krutz was a member of Metropolitan Community Church, Masonic Lodge. Oh my God, everybody. Lodge, Scottish Rites, Indianapolis Traffic Club, and Ellis Trucking Company. Old Timers Club. He also was an Army Air Corps veteran of World War II. Friends may call from 2 to 5 p.m. and 7 to 9 today. Let's see. Survivors include a son, Charles Krutz, 4 sisters, Mrs. Iva. So what's missing from there, everybody? You know, perhaps the precluded in death by, you know. I'm a little surprised we're not seeing, you know, you would think that Charles L. here would want to mention his mother, right? Wouldn't you think Malvina might be on there? You know? I don't know. I just find that weird. A little interesting. You know, it's a little strange that, you know, you would think Charles would probably be the one that set it up, and he's the son of Malvina. And this is 1980, so he lived to be 70 years old. He only lived another 22 years. That's pretty long after having a grave car accident like that, where you're basically, you know, very little chance of living, and he pulled through it somehow. It's interesting, though, because Charles is dead now. Did he have something that said, hey, I don't want you to mention? Or, if not, though, why wouldn't his other children, at least Charles anyways, say preceded in death by... So it says son Charles, 4 sister, Krutz's, no, that's it. That was the only son. And that's the person that would have done the obituary, right? So it's son Charles L. Krutz. And then he also, Mr. Krutz, Charles, the dad, had 4 sisters. Iva Collies, she got remarried. Miss Ruby Sweat, she got remarried. Miss Opal Schlegel, she got married. And Miss Garnett Anderson, who got married. And 4 brothers, Larry, Harry, Eldon, and Russell Krutz. Wow, so he had 9 siblings. But the son, Charles, who normally would be doing this, didn't think it was important to say that. And then, I wonder if he ever got remarried again. Do you have 8 brothers, Kubi? Yeah, it could have been something like that, Gene. That definitely crossed my mind. But that in itself is weird, right? And maybe the son even found out at some point. I don't know. It just seems odd that, and I don't really know who put together the obituary, to be honest. I have no clue. I just thought it was strange that you wouldn't say, because every time I've seen other deaths in cases I look at, it could have been 40 years before. It says preceded in death by. It's always in there. So I showed you guys that one out of order. So is it this one? No, we already did that. And that one. Maybe not that one. Oh, he withdrew the confession. Did that. Now he names the killer. Bullshit. And then July. Tip on Krutz tub murder. Unproductive. Okay, we did that. Okay, and then the car accident. Car accident. There was two on the car accident. Let's see. Slang. Miss Malvina Krutz was found dead in the bathtub. Let's see. Miss Franny Krutz, 77. Mother-in-law of Miss Malvina Krutz, victim of a bizarre, unsolved slaying in an... Yeah, mother-in-law. Yeah, that's right. Was killed, and her son, Charles, 49, the slaying victim's husband, was injured critically in a car-truck collision. Now, the thing is, the son was injured, too. Charles L., he was injured as well. I think it's right here. His 10-year-old son, Buddy, was injured seriously. So, he got injured badly, too. Miss Malvina Krutz was found dead in the bathtub of her home January 29th. Her death was termed a homicide. Many suspects were questioned, but lie detector tests cleared all, including her husband, which is total bullshit. In Friday night's accident, truck driver Thomas C. Walters, 35, Knox, told authorities the Krutz car turned off US 35 south of Winnemac and then swerved back into the highway into the truck's path. Krutz was taken to Memorial Hospital at Logansport. His 10-year-old son, Buddy, was injured seriously. You sort of wonder if that was some kind of a intentional, like, suicidal deal. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's later in the year. Maybe he thought things were coming down. It's the same year. I mean, it's weird that he got injured like this and the whole family would have been dead the same year that his wife was murdered, and he was somebody that was thought to be a suspect. Okay, that's just the same thing. Barry, victim of accident. Let's see. Final rites are scheduled for 2:30 p.m. Monday at the Finch Funeral Home at Tell City for Mrs. Fanny E. Krutz. Her son, Charles E. Krutz, 49, is in critical condition at Memorial Hospital with internal injuries. And his son, Charles Buddy, is also hospitalized with multiple fractures, but listed as satisfactory. All three lived at 5268 Guilford, so they were still living at that same house. James R., who lives about 11 miles southwest of Winnemac, the brothers plan to go squirrel hunting. Let me see. That's right, he was heading to his brother's house to go squirrel hunting. Drivers of the truck, Thomas C. Walters, 35, of Knox, told Deputy Kepke that he was traveling north on US 35 when the Krutz car, which was ahead of him, pulled into the berm on the right side of the road, and a car in front of Kurtz's car made a left turn onto a country road. Then the Kurtz car came back onto the highway into the path of the truck, which was loaded with livestock. The truck struck the left side of the car, knocking the vehicle off the road and into a telephone pole. Jeez. And they didn't wear seatbelts back then. It's really a miracle that anybody lived, really. The truck went on down the highway before going off the road on the right side and into a ditch. The driver escaped injury and only the front of the tractor appeared damaged. He probably didn't even feel it. Krutz was driving the late model car. His mother and son were the only passengers in the car. Driver of the car making the left turn ahead of the Krutz car was not found. Well, yeah, they didn't know what the hell they did. They just were doing what they were doing. Miss Krutz died of a skull fracture. So, there you go. Alright, now we're moving to 1959, January 25th, a year later. This is some kind of a recap. So let's see if there's anything in the... Man, is it 12 o'clock already? Okay, I'm going to go through... I don't know. I might... How about we'll stop here and then we'll continue tomorrow. Because look at, I'm going to stop right here. Let's see. Rename. Right on the recap here. This is crazy. There it is. So tomorrow well, let's see. Well, we don't have really much more to go though. That's the thing. I just realized it. 1, 2, and then it gets in. Yeah, I'll just finish. Here we go. Forget it. Jeez. See if I can bust through this thing. One of the Hoosier capital's strangest and most baffling murder cases of a decade will be 1 year old. Thursday, the bathtub slaying of Miss Malvina Krutz. The 41-year-old housewife was found beaten and drowned in the bathtub of her North Side home last January 29th. The murder is crowded with mysterious elements and weird evidence that has baffled detectives. This, along with surprisingly strange police maneuvers, makes the case a bewildering one. Clues were plentiful, and a woman talked to the supposed killer on the telephone. Yeah, I mean, so some people think that's the killer. I mean, it seemed like it was first, but I don't know. 3 more persons saw the chief suspect who stole Miss Krutz's 1955 Buick, and police laboratory experts uncovered fingerprints besides those of Krutz's family in the house. But all clues fizzled out and the case remains unsolved. Now investigation is practically at a standstill. Well, hold on, let me check something really quick. One, I got that one. That one's long too. That's a long one. Then I did these already. That one's not too long. That one's long. Yeah. Well, maybe what I'll just do these ones again. I already named it. I'll start that one over tomorrow. That one's long. There's about 4 long ones. And then we'll do our final wrap up and see what everybody's thinking. Okay? Because I don't want to spend another... That would be like another hour and a half or something. I think. So, hey, thanks, Zozo. Wow, yeah, that sandwich is going to play a big part. Tell you what. The sandwich that solved the murder. Tonight at 11.
Chewbacca?
Make you holla.
Oh, I'll be Chewbacca.
Thanks, Billy Boy Blue.
$10 make ya holla. Spending that sweet, sweet Kubi money.
Check in tomorrow to see.
Check in tomorrow to see if the sandwich will solve the murder. We just don't know at this point, everybody.
Dun, 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 dun.
Good evening, basketball fans, wherever you may be. Welcome again to NBA basketball. Around the Pacific Northwest, the West Coast, across our satellite Trailblazer radio network. Tonight's game between the Portland Trailblazers and, yes, the Los Angeles Lakers, who absolutely blow donkey chunks. 198 Portland by 2. They've got the ball, 35 seconds to go. Calhoun on the inbound play. They get to Bobby Gross right in front of us. Bobby takes a look. Hands back to Lionel Hollins to play that clock down. 25, 24 seconds. They're looking for a good shot, and hopefully they'll win. Hollins works the clock down to 9-8. Around to Robin Jones, 3 for the second. He scores! Lionel Hollins, a perfect play. One of the easiest plays in basketball. We got a 17-foot jump shot and candy. Dr. J picks up Bobby, doesn't shoot, needs help, waits, turns around, gonna take a shot, scores! He showed the ball to his left. Put over shoulder and shot of the doctor. Hey, thank you. Leave a G. Walton the ball to target, down in front of goes, waits, Johnny Davis rolls the hoop, he scores, he's fouled. Back by Walton, headed Johnny Davis, 19 rebounds. Johnny Davis, kneel, and he goes easy too. He looked at him. The Blazers lead by 15. Here's a steal. Close, drives, and he goes, shoots, he scores! What the hell is this? That damn sandwich every time, huh, Lady?
Alright, leave a G. Like a rap name. Leave a G, leave a G. Yep, the fire, yep. Boy, that fire does it every time, doesn't it?
Alright, everybody. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna let Ray finish off the show here.
Wait, what happened there?
I don't know. I thought I was him talking.
What do you mean you thought you were him talking?
I don't know.
I think those people need to do some drugs. Anyways. Thank you. Hey, thanks everybody. I appreciate you guys showing up. Let me roll through the credits here.
Thank you to Wally Gator, Billy Boy Blue, Cairo, Rebecca N, David Adamansky, or Adamsky. My brain's too short. David Adamsky, or Adamsky. Is it Adamsky or Adamsky? Sandy Lee G, Dozo, Wally Gator, Sozo, Billy Boy Blue, Shelley Wagner, Billy Boy Blue again, Sozo, Billy Boy Blue, Wally Gator, Leva G, or is it Eva G, Billy Boy Blue, Sozo, Billy Boy Blue, Leva D, oh. I started watching Night Stalker last night. Might watch another episode tonight. Well, maybe we'll talk about the Night Stalker. Well, I'll do.
What do you mean, what you'll do?
Well, I'd like to do my own show too.
Well, but Gray does the show.
Ah, Jesus. Okay, listen. I might actually do something where I go back in time and find some of the victims or something. I don't know. It's like something that's been covered a million times, so I don't know if I would do that. It's always interesting to read the newspaper articles at the time, I've found. Oh my god. Hey, and Julie, did they roast those peppers in the fire that happened a month before? Huh? Boom! I think I nailed it. They were fired roasted peppers, and that was the whole point of the fire a month before. We nailed it, everybody. Doom, 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 doom. That's right. Or maybe one of the firemen grabbing one of the last embers left. One of the last embers left of that fire. Took it home and lit a fire in the fireplace of his own residence, keeping the embers alive, then roasted peppers in that fire, eventually ending up on the sandwich of the son in the very same house that the fire was started. Now that is some crazy crap right there. Wow! That is unreal, everybody. Makes you wonder if a fire actually has a life on its own. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're having fun, Leva G. Alright, everybody, thank you very much. And as I always say, everybody, well, first of all, make sure you wear your masks, maintain your social distancing, and wash your hands until they look like raisins. Alright? Thank you very much. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. We'll finish this up tomorrow. And then we'll go over... maybe we'll do a call-in so people can call in and say their theory. And I won't diss on anybody's theory. I'll if you have something that can be disproven in the theory, I'll say it though. Okay? Is that cool? Is that fair? Like if there's something, oh wow, okay, that's right, you know, that kind of thing. Alright? No, I will. I'll diss it if there is something that doesn't work based on the facts that we know. You're so nice, Zozo. Oh, you did? Oh, I haven't even looked at my email for a while. Hold on a second. Let's see. Oh, well, thanks, Debbie. That was very kind of you. So, hold on a second.
Debbie, hold on. Debbie August.
It screwed me up in a second because I was like, I thought it was Debbie Argus, and then I saw another Deborah. Then I looked up and I went, no, it was Argus. Yeah, thank you very much. No, I appreciate it. Sometimes I forget to look there. Thanks for letting me know. Well, thanks for the nice message too. Maybe you can tell me sometime what what you said. Like explain what you're saying. That'd be cool. I mean, what you're... Never mind. You probably know what I'm saying. Yeah. No, she didn't say she hated me. Seriously though, I think it'd be fun. Everybody's been following along. Just call in. And if you want, we can do a maybe we could do one of the panel shows, right? You call in, you can be on video. We're all like Halloween, if you want to, or you can just call in. It's no big deal. So, anyways, we'll figure it out tomorrow. We'll finish this puppy up, and then I might continue on with it though. I got some stuff I want to check out. Well, we got to finish watching the Night Stalker and all that stuff. All right, cool. All right, everybody, thank you very much. And as I always say, until next time. Yes, send me the story, Dave. Until next time, be safe out there. And a 2 and a 3 and yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, like rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gregor's gonna give another lecture. Crime connector, reconnector, and I'm always gonna be a protector, full deflector, interceptor, and we know that I'm with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll send it to you straight without a blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Alright! Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody?
Man, that was a really cool show, wasn't it, man? I mean, that's really interesting, all the stuff going on there.
Did you pay attention to the show? Tell me all about it.
Well, I was busy doing other things, but I heard it was really great. There was a lot of information.
Oh, man.
Gosh, John Boy, you're so mean.
I think Mary Lou was just trying to get out of it there. She wasn't really upset. Good night, Jennifer. Good night, everybody. Good night, Kubi. Good night, Rebecca. Good night, Carly. Good night, Deborah Van Corverden. Good night, Wally Gator. Good night, Zozo. Good night, Carly Levine. I already said that. Good night, Sarita. Debbie Argus. Wally Gator. Mary Poppins. Leva G. Billy Boy Blue. Rebecca N. Jen H. All of you. All of you fantastic. Gotta get some traffic. Thanks, Zozo.
Isn't anybody gonna say goodnight to us? What about me and John Boy? Is nobody gonna say goodnight to us?
Can you just let the show for me at the end sometimes?
No, I wanna be said goodnight to too. Okay, there's somebody. Look at Jennifer say goodnight to me. What about Rebecca and that's it. No, that's all the people. Oh, Carly too. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, thanks, guys. I didn't ask for it, but yeah, hey, cool, thank you.
Well, I know you didn't, but I really wanted it. CR, say goodnight too. Jen H said goodnight. But at the end said, geez.
Come on, that was pretty funny. Good night, Mary Lou. That's pretty good, Jen. That's pretty good. It made me laugh. All right. Yeah.
Crime dissector, detector, I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya, I'll set ya, if you try and play me like a little projector. But, you know, I'm the one that...
Well, I wasn't the one that said to say goodnight. Gee.
What are you talking about, young boy?
All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for showing up for tonight's part 3. Tomorrow we'll do part 4 and then a call-in show where everybody can discuss their theories after we go through the whole thing again. And, you know, try to get everything laid out. I'll try to find some of the other stuff I don't have in the timeline and put it all together. Right? Awesome. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for showing up tonight. And be safe out there.
Be safe out there?
Do you always have to have the last word, Mary Lou?
Well, sometimes. Gee.
Good God. Good night, everybody.